Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pop culture, social media, TV, film, sports, everything really. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, I go as PD Beats. My guest this afternoon is a musician. He's a guitarist with a Saturday Night Live band. Jared Scharff is with us. Jared, welcome to Popternative.
What's up, bro?
I thought you were going to say something like, "Saw, dude."
Sup, dude?
Sup, dude?
Wow.
Seriously, man, we've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm glad we're finally being able to do it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
So first icebreaker question, what was the first record that you put on and you listened to, and then you said moments after you listened to that record, man, I want to play guitar and I want to be a guitarist?
Ooh, that's a great question. I've been playing guitar for like longer than most people have been alive, so it's hard to remember that far back. The people that are listening probably I've been playing guitar probably much longer than they've been alive. I don't know the exact pinpoint, but I will tell you that I remember listening to my dad got me these 4 cassette tapes of, I'm already dating myself, cassette tapes of like Led Zeppelin box set. And I used to take these cassette tapes everywhere, like when we go on family vacations or like wherever, like I'd always take them. And it was like that, and it was like Metallica, Master of Puppets, and Ride the Lightning. Those were like, so these were all like my favorite albums. And I just used to listen to this nonstop and just be like this is the greatest thing like in the history of the world. Like it just like, you know what I mean? It just like was everything. And
for sure.
I don't know that I was like, I have to play guitar. Like, I don't think that was that, because I wasn't even playing guitar by that point. I was just listening to music. But I was actually a drummer first.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't really by choice, to be honest. Nor was playing guitar. That wasn't really by choice, to be honest, either. A very strange origin story on that stuff. But I got there. But my dad was like always a big guitar player. He was always like trying to get me to listen to Allman Brothers and like Eric Clapton. He was like a huge Clapton fan, and he had this like 1969 gold top like Les Paul, and which I guess at the time when I was growing up, like it wasn't super vintage, like I was born in 79, so I was only like 10 years old. But now it's like, a 69 gold top Les Paul is like really cool, But I had that like growing up my whole life, and it was like this like almost like museum piece. Like every like once a year, like he'd let me play it, he'd take it out of the case, and it was like this special moment. So I think he kind of like, he almost made like playing a really nice guitar to be like this thing that was like almost untouchable and very special. And he really instilled like this respect to like the instrument and the love of the instrument. And like he was so guitar focused. And I think like his excitement in that and what he was showing me, like I wasn't necessarily like on the same page initially, because I was like, guitar is cool, but like I'm loving this Kirk Hammett Metallica stuff.
Yeah.
But like eventually it got there. It was like, then I was like all about like Allman Brothers and Zeppelin and like Hendrix and Clapton and Cream and all the good stuff. And like that eventually like went into, and the metal stuff kind of turned into the grunge stuff for me. So like I had like Guitar World, and I had like normal music person loving like Kid World. And then all of that turned into like jam bands and like high school and like Jam World. And I was like all about, because it wasn't really about like the songs or anything. It was just like I loved the instrument and exploring on the guitar. So like Fish and the Dead and all that stuff was like so inspiring to me, because it was like I hadn't been hip to jazz yet, where like that's really exploratory. So like this was like rock and roll, but like the highest form of exploration on the instruments, and everything from weird cool things to like noises and sounds and blippy bloops that are just like, what is this? So that's kind of. Anyway, I don't even know if I answered your question.
No, you did, for sure. So guitarist in the Saturday Live Band, and you guys just played the Emmys, which is awesome. And people who follow you on social media saw you in that really snazzy suit.
Tuxedos.
Tuxedos, yeah, that's awesome. So what I wanted to kind of know, I'm sure it's a long story or maybe it's not a long story, but how did you get recruited to be a guitarist in the Saturday Live Band?
Yes. Actually, that one's a pretty easy story. Okay, let's back up. So my sister was a producer for the TV Funhouse cartoons.
Okay.
For like 10 years. All the like Robert Smigel, TV Funhouse, like Ambiguously Gay Duo, like all those famous like digital shorts back then. Not digital, but like the cartoon digital stuff.
Yeah.
So she was there. So I used to go to the show a lot and visit and check it out. And I became friendly with the previous guitar player, Dr. Luke. And I would send him my music and like some videos and stuff like throughout the years, kind of towards the end of his tenure on the show. And he was like, he thought I was really good. And he was like, yo, like, I want to recommend you like for when I leave. And I was like, all right, cool. And so, yeah, he like put my name in the ring and, and I apparently like I kept hearing from all these different places, like someone's friend was auditioning and all these people. And so I don't know how many people auditioned, but it sounded like a lot were going to go in. So I was like in the whole thing. And I did the main audition with Lenny, which was just like, he's the band leader, like a hang for like 3 hours talking a lot about my upbringing and my musical thing and what I've learned, played some music. He taught, we just basically like getting to know each other and like kind of seeing what the personality is like. Cause that's
for sure.
You're spending a lot of time with these people. And then, we played a couple of songs and then I got a call back. So I went a couple weeks later where they whittled it down to just 4 of us. I think it was like a dude from Philly, a dude from Texas, me, and like maybe one other New York guy or something. And that was playing with the entire rhythm section. So then we played like 5 or 6 songs. And that was really fun because I got to play with the band. That was really exciting. And then, I got the call that they liked me and they wanted to go with me. So I was like, great.
That's awesome, man. No, that's really cool. And Saturday Night Live, it starts, I believe, next week.
That's right.
Season 44, I believe.
Maybe.
It's amazing. And people that also... Oh, continue.
No, I don't count. I can't keep track of like SNL season because there's so many, and like I kind of keep track of my seasons. So I'm like, oh, this is like my 12th season. So like that's kind of become
12 seasons. You've been doing it for 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this was my 12th year, which is really crazy.
So like, how does that feel? Like I know it's how does that feel, man?
I mean, the thing is, what's crazy about the show is like it's 21 shows a year, so it's like not a lot of time, but it goes by so quick. And like when you're doing it 3 shows in a row, and granted, like I'm in the band, so like we show up like on Saturdays for the most part, every once in a while I gotta come in on a Thursday or Friday, but so like we have the least amount of work to do, I feel like, on the show than like everyone else who's there 6 days a week, like working their like
no, for sure.
Crazy out, like 18-hour days, like insane. Like I don't know how these people do it, but like by that 3rd week, and like people think I'm like crazy, and they're like, "Oh, you're so spoiled," or but it's like, dude, like by that 3rd week, you're so fried because it's such a long day. It's like 11 a.m. I leave my house at like 10 a.m. and I get home. Well, the show's done at 1 a.m. and then I usually like go to the after party just to like unwind, have like a drink, have some food, whatever. So I usually get home at like 3, 4 a.m. It's just like you play 2 shows, rehearsals. It's like a long day. So usually by that 3rd week, you're like ready for a break. It's like,
what's Jared Scharff not like doing when it's not Saturday? I know you have your own like project, Pearl Lion.
Yes, I do a lot. So I have my own music, Pearl Lion, which is my own dream of like making an instrumental album that is modern and not guitar shreddy and not too guitar centric.
Yeah.
But still having moments. So like, there's a light and a dark mini album that's coming out, and there's a couple songs and videos I think that are out for each one already on Spotify and YouTube and all that. But like if you went to Starbucks, you could hear like any song from the Light album, and like people would be like, "This is really pretty. Like, what is this?" You know, it's like in that Bon Iver, Sigur Rós, Explosions in the Sky kind of like melodic and like easily accessible kind of thing. And then the Dark is more like really aggressive, in your face, like almost like Jack White, guitar-y, like fuzzy, like attitude, but like with more like, I don't want to say danceable beats, but just more like urban inspired, like drum kind of stuff, like almost like in the taking elements from like Kanye and like beat maker world, because I'm a producer and beat maker, and just I love all that stuff. So it's like it touches on like rock elements, some like urban elements, some like EDM elements, like just production things, but like kind of in the guise of just like badass guitar stuff. Mm-hmm. But not like shred world with like a million notes. It's like rock riffs, and like if you heard it's like if Zeppelin came out today like and put out one of these songs, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm comparing myself to Zeppelin, but it's like if they put out something like this, you would be like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. It's like modern production with like cool riffs and like weird, crazy stuff here and there, and being creative and all that stuff.
And where can people get Pearline? And where can they find it?
It's so I have a couple of videos up on YouTube. There's like a Pearline Vivo page, and there's like a Pearline Vivo channel on Vivo, and Pearline Vivo on the YouTube. And then there's Pearline on Spotify. You can just find that. And yeah, I think I'm going to release another video in a couple weeks, actually.
That's amazing. And another thing, too, is you were a big hockey fan, New York Rangers fan. And that's kind of how we started, talking, right? Because hockey guy meets another hockey guy.
I got an official Lundqvist jersey in my closet. I got a Scharff Rangers jersey in my closet. I got it all.
That's amazing. Well, I told you, like Ryan Spooner, one of our good friends of the show, he's been on the show. We just taped with him last week. New episode hasn't been posted yet. But
right?
Yeah, Ryan Spooner, Ottawa boy.
Rangers are my team, man. I've always loved the Rangers, and the last two seasons of what do you call seasons? The last two seasons of the Rangers. Whenever I've been in town and it's worked out, like I've been playing at the Rangers games for the entertainment. It's like I'm on the Jumbotron and it says like guest guitarist, like SNL, Jared Scharff, blah, blah. And it's been so fun because I watch almost like pretty much like any home game I try to watch. Well, now I'm at them usually when I'm here, but I watch like every Rangers game that I can on TV.
It's amazing. And you know what? I want to ask you this because this is cool. So I've asked a lot of, and what I mean by hockey people, I mean, I've asked a lot of like players, past players, current players, coaches, scouts, right? But you're a hockey fan, but you're not like a hockey guy. Like you're not like involved with the day-to-days of playing. So I want your opinion on this. I want to know what you're going to think about this. I do play hockey, by the way, now. Really?
I actually, like a couple of years ago, I started learning how to like skate, like for real. And now I take lessons once a week, twice a week, sometimes when I'm in New York. And I've been playing hockey for like 3-4 years now. It's like my favorite thing to do.
No, absolutely. I meant it more like your job is not in hockey, right? You're a musician.
I want it to be.
I love it. But my question is, do you see an opening? Because we were talking about, there's so many, the game of hockey is changing and it's becoming faster. The skill is amazing. Like some of these players coming up, Jared, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you think people are kind of aware of that? Because I have a feeling that hockey is gonna like explode like this year or next year, and especially like in the States, like Europe, it's taken off as well. Do you notice that? Do you think people notice that? You bring your friend to a Rangers game, and that person can be like, "Oh, I went a couple years ago."
You know what everybody says when I take them to a game or I go to a game with somebody, which actually is usually in LA because, like I said, if I'm home and there's a Rangers game and I'm in town, I'm playing it. But everyone I bring to a game, like when I'm at like LA or something, like at Staples Center or something, like I always make sure we get like decent seats, like I don't go often, so I'd rather pay like $100 for like a pretty good seat versus like, $20 for like somewhere far away. But every time they're like, oh my God, like it's so much better on like live. Like I didn't know it was this crazy. This is so awesome. Like I never really watched it on TV, but like this is sick. Like, that's always everyone's reaction.
Yeah.
Like when they see it live, they're like, this is incredible. And they get it. And like just not enough people do that. They don't think to do that, which is weird.
No, for sure.
But I don't know, man. I also think like I get worried sometimes that like they're starting how do I explain this? Like with the emphasis on like these really fast and skilled players and like cutting down on the fighting and some of that stuff. Like I feel like it is starting to take some of the like the grit and like the interesting things from hockey. And sometimes like I feel like if that was gone, that would be a real shame.
Mm-hmm.
You
like
know,
the intensity you're talking about.
Yeah, because I just feel like everyone now, like a lot of people, like a lot of the skilled people, like no one hits anyone anymore except like a couple of like the infamous defensemen that like hit. But like that's kind of gone. It's going away, and it's like
but when you see some of these dangles and some of these goals, you're just mesmerized from them. Like I've seen some people in junior hockey, Jared, do some things that I've never seen. Like I've never seen it done before. Like we're at the point of the game now where things are being done on ice that have never been done before, and I feel like that's very exciting.
Just seeing that Matt Duchene clip that came out yesterday, the double dangle, I was like, this is insane. But I feel like I wish hockey was like, I wish there was a way that people could score more without like. Let me rephrase that. I wish there was a way that people had more space in time on the ice so you could see more skill, because like even with the like cutting down on like the physicality and all that stuff, it's so tight and like it's really hard to like see stuff. It would be cool if you could really see a little bit more room for people.
No, I hear that for sure. No, for sure. I know that.
I don't know how you would do that. I don't know that bigger rinks is the answer, but it's like, man, it would just be so cool if like you could really let the people who are really great like be great.
Well, 3-on-3 overtime, right? I mean, that you're probably a big fan of that.
I love that, but at the same time, that's almost like too much. Like, not for overtime. I'm just saying, like, what if you could like find a way where like 5-on-5 was like a little bit more open.
4-on-4, and everyone.
Before, I feel like 4-on-4 is typically boring. I feel like 3-on-3 is fun, but it gets a little bit like exhausting. 5-on-5 is like so tight and crammed, and 4-on-4 is kind of like safe.
We did like a tournament because I work at a hockey rink. That's what I do, and like we had a game this summer.
What rink?
We did a game. It was called, well, my name's PD Beats, so we call it like PD Beats Hockey League when we have like shinny at the rink, so PBHL. We did a summer classic where it was a bunch of like junior players, but we had like 2 NHLers play. It was like Team Spooner versus Team Hutton, Ben Hutton from the Canucks. And we tried to do, like, we were talking, like, do we want to make it 4-on-4 or 3-on-3? And both of them were like, no, we're doing 5-on-5. We're not doing that. We're going to get 2 gassed right away.
Yeah. Just there's like a way, like, I don't know if it's ever possible, but like, I don't know, maybe like, weren't they doing something where like the goalie equipment was going to be shaved down so it wasn't so big?
Yeah, there was a lot of things they're doing. They're always trying to like figure out ways to do those type of things and make it different. But that's not the first time I've heard your argument there about, you know, the format. But for a wrap up, a couple more questions. I wanted to know, you know, you've been doing it for 12 years as the Saturday Night Live band Guitarist.
Yeah.
What has been, or maybe a couple, because I'm sure you can't pinpoint, like, just choose one, but what have there been some, like, wow, this is one of the coolest things I've ever been able to do moments with the SNL band that you could share with us?
Yeah, I think for me, it's those rare opportunities when we get to play with somebody, or, you know, one really nice moment that was really nice. You know, they don't, we don't have credits, like, in the beginning. We're not in the opening credits. So, you know, it's like we're just kind of playing and that's cool. But there was something that really was nice when Paul Simon we did a song with Paul Simon for the 40th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And he like said something about the band and like basically kind of was like, y'all should give them a standing ovation for, you know, like they've been here for so long. And it was just like really nice to be recognized in that way at that moment, like from someone like that, like a legend like that. It was just really like a beautiful moment for the band. I felt like we really got really beautiful attention at that time. So that was really nice. I'll always like take that with me. That was like a really beautiful moment. And I'm really like appreciative of Paul for that. Otherwise, like another fun moment was I was playing a Led Zeppelin song in the warm up, and we did it during the night that Dave Grohl's Them Crooked Vultures played, and that's John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin, the bass player, plays in that band. And I remember Dave Grohl like brought out John Paul Jones like during the warm up to watch us play, and like we played that Led Zeppelin song. So I'm sitting there playing like out on the tiles with Led Zeppelin and with John Paul Jones like 10 feet away from me, like watching me, and I'm just like, this is crazy. That was pretty cool. Had a really kind of fun moment with Mick Jagger when he played with Jeff Beck on the show. I think it was he was hosting and performing. I don't remember. It was like maybe 2 seasons ago or something like that, or 3. I don't even know. But he was playing, and it was Jeff Beck and Jeff Beck's band, but like the SNL band as well. So like I was playing and like backing him up. And he's taking this solo, and it's just like mind blowing. It's Jeff Beck, you know. You're just like, this is insane, and I'm kind of like laughing to myself, almost being like, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
And so like Mick Jagger kind of like shimmies like to the, you know, from one side of the stage, kind of coming back to the other, and he like turns and looks at me, and kind of gives me this look of like this is pretty badass, huh, kid? You know, like that kind of like, this is the shit, right? And I just like looked at him and just was like, smiled and like nodded, and like he like nodded back, and we kind of had this like, and then he just turns and like goes off into his like Mick Jagger land, and like never to be seen again in my eyes. But like it was so crazy, like we just kind of locked into this moment, you know.
Wow. And that's an awesome Mick Jagger story.
Yeah, like I mean, how many people can be like, yeah, like I had like a moment on stage with Mick Jagger where we had connected for like a second or whatever, and it's really crazy.
That's really awesome. Well, man, we'll wrap up, and thank you so much for coming on Pop Turnative. I really appreciate it, dude.
My pleasure, man. It's been a blast.
No, absolutely. So where can people follow you on social media? You mentioned Pearl Lion, like where they could follow it, but plug it now so people could follow up.
Yeah, so I'm really mostly a big Instagram guy. My personal page is my last name at Scharff is here. So SCHARFF is here. You can also find my music page. The I Am Pearl Lion is the handle for that. You can find all the music on Spotify under Pearl Lion, and YouTube pages, Pearl Lion Vivo, I think, or just search Pearl Lion videos or something, and you'll find it. Super easy. And come say hi, slide in the DM, say what up or whatever. And
perfect.
You know, like I'm super friendly and love to like meet new people, so it's all good. And
seriously, man, thank you so much, and all the best with this upcoming season of Saturday Night Live, man.
Thanks, man. Let's go Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been Pop Turnative, youtube.com/PopTurnative for previous episodes. Audio-only episodes can be listened to wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. Until next time, this is Darren Scharff and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Turnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Pop Turnative on YouTube. Be sure to like Pop Turnative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.